Most people don't stop eating when they're satisfied. They stop when the plate's empty. They stop when the show's over. They stop when the bag's finished. Or they stop when the body finally says, please no more. But in Okinawa, Japan, there's an old phrase that teaches a very different way to eat. Hara Hachi Bu. In simple English, it means eat until you're about 80% full, not stuffed, not uncomfortable, not so full that you need to loosen your belt or lie down on the sofa, just satisfied. And at first, this sounds almost too simple. Today, health advice is always getting louder and more complicated. People talk about extreme diets, expensive supplements, calorie apps, superfoods, and morning routines with 15 different steps. But this old Japanese habit doesn't ask you to buy anything. It doesn't ask you to weigh every bite of food. It simply asks one quiet question. Could you stop eating a little before your body feels heavy? Today, we're going to look at why that small habit can make such a big difference, especially as we get older. Because longevity isn't only about adding more years to your life, it's about having enough energy, comfort, and strength to enjoy the years you already have. To understand this, imagine an older Japanese man named Kenji. Kenji isn't a fitness influencer. He doesn't count every calorie. He's simply a man who has lived with the habits he learned as a child. Every morning, he sits at the same small table near the window. His breakfast is simple: a small bowl of rice, warm miso soup, a little grilled fish, some vegetables, and green tea. Nothing about it looks like a miracle cure. There's no special pill, no exotic powder, no dramatic transformation story. But before Kenji eats, he remembers something his grandfather taught him many years ago. Leave a little room. That was the whole lesson. Kenji doesn't eat until the plate forces him to stop. He eats slowly, pays attention, and stops when he feels satisfied. And that small difference changes everything. Here's the problem most of us have. Our forks move faster than our brains. When you eat, your stomach doesn't instantly send a perfect message saying, that's enough. It takes time for your brain to understand that you're full. So if you keep eating quickly until you feel completely full, you may have already gone past the point your body actually needed. It's like driving a car and braking too late. You wanted to stop at the line, but because you were moving too fast, you rolled right past it. That's exactly what happens at the dinner table. The food tastes good, the conversation's flowing, the TV's on, and before you realize it, you're not just satisfied anymore, you're heavy. Kenji avoids that by slowing down. He takes a bite, he chews properly, he puts his chopsticks down, he takes a sip of tea. To someone watching from the outside, it might look like nothing important's happening, but something important is happening. He's giving his body time to speak. Now compare that to how many of us eat today. We eat lunch while checking messages. We eat dinner while watching TV. We snack because the food's there, not because we're hungry. And many of us grew up hearing the same rule: finish everything on your plate. Of course, wasting food isn't good, but forcing your body to become uncomfortable just to clean a plate isn't wisdom either. There's a better solution: serve a little less, eat more slowly, and give yourself permission to stop when your body says, that's enough. This becomes way more important with age. When you're young, you can often get away with heavy meals. You eat too much, feel tired for an hour, and move on. But later in life, the body becomes less forgiving. A meal that's too large can mean reflux, poor sleep, a heavy stomach, and less movement in the afternoon. And when you move less every day, your world slowly becomes smaller. That's why Hara Hachi Bu isn't really about eating less for the sake of eating less. It's about protecting your energy. Food should give life back to the body. It shouldn't steal the rest of the day from you. Here's a simple way to practice it. Imagine hunger and fullness on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 means you're starving. 10 means you're completely starved. Most people aim for 10 without even realizing it, but Hara Hachi Bu asks you to aim for 8. At an 8, you're no longer hungry. That's the sweet spot. Not hungry, not starved, just comfortably satisfied. And once you learn that feeling, you begin to notice how often you used to go past it. Kenji understands something many people forget. The stomach isn't the right place to solve every problem. Sometimes you need a quiet cup of tea. Food is wonderful, but food can't fix everything. So how can you try this without making your life miserable? Don't suddenly cut your meals in half. That feels like punishment, and your brain will fight it. Instead, start gently. At your next meal, keep everything the same, but change the speed. For the first 5 bites, eat slowly on purpose. Chew a little longer. Put your fork down between bites. Take a breath. Actually taste the food before preparing the next bite. This sounds almost too simple, but simple doesn't mean weak. A slower meal gives your body time to notice satisfaction before you accidentally cross into heaviness. Then, when you're about halfway through the plate, pause for 30 seconds, not 5 minutes, not a meditation session, just 30 seconds. Ask yourself, am I still physically hungry? Or am I just continuing because the food's still here? Sometimes the honest answer is going to be, yes, I'm still hungry. And that's fine. Keep eating. But other times the answer is going to be, actually, I'm okay. I'm just eating automatically. That's the moment where Hara Hachi Bu begins. Here are 3 practical steps. First, serve yourself slightly less than usual. Not a tiny portion, just a little less. You can always add more if you're truly still hungry. Second, remove one distraction. Maybe no phone at the table. Maybe the TV stays off for the first 10 minutes. Third, stop before the heavy feeling arrives. This is the key. Most people use discomfort as a signal to stop, but discomfort means you already passed the signal. The real signal is much quieter. It feels like, I could eat more, but I don't need to. That's the 80% feeling. Now, one important note, Hara Hachi Bu isn't for everyone in every situation. If you're underweight, recovering from an illness, struggling to eat enough, or your doctors told you to increase calories or protein, then this isn't the rule to follow without medical advice. The point isn't to become thin. The point is simply to avoid mindless overeating that leaves the body tired and uncomfortable. This habit should feel peaceful, not stressful. In the modern world, we are constantly told to want more. More food, bigger portions, but the body doesn't always need more. Sometimes the body is just asking for enough. Enough to wake up with energy tomorrow. That's the quiet wisdom of Hara Hachi Bu. Kenji doesn't live this way because he hates food. He lives this way because he respects food. He enjoys the meal, then he lets it end. And maybe that's something we can all learn from. Tonight, when you sit down to eat, try one small experiment. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more simple, time-tested habits from Japanese daily life. In the next video, we'll talk about the short walk after meals and why this gentle habit may be one of the easiest ways to support energy, digestion, and healthy aging. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.